Okay, so I'm actually inside of my screen 2 right now. I actually want to design myself a painting screen. It's entirely up to you, depends on your design, but my design is going to be nice and basic, and it's also going to have some options in it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get myself a canvas, and I'm going to stretch my canvas out by going to width and fill parent, click OK, and I want it to be roughly about here, just so I can have some space for some options. So I'm just going to go to the height and specify a height in pixels. I'm going to trial and error till I find the right height I want. So 300. Okay, not too bad at all. I'm going to try 220 and say OK again. Okay, that's round about where I want it at. And I'm going to decide I want to have some functions in there. So the first function I want to have is a colour selection. So I'm going to get myself a screen arrangement, horizontal. Just going to drag it there. Now inside of here I want to lay out some things. First thing I want to put down is a label. So I'm just going to go into basic, pick a label and drag out a label into there. I'm going to change the text in the label to say tools. Sorry, not tools, colours. I'm going to choose some colours first. So inside of this I would like some buttons that when I select they actually change their colours, or the colours of the actual drawing. So I'm going to go into button, drag one out. I'm going to call this button blue. Another button for red. And let's have one more yellow. Okay, so I've got myself 3 buttons here, and I would like to basically pick these buttons and draw a colour inside of there. Now before we go into the blocks editor, I want to give everything a good name, because right now they don't actually make sense. As in button 1 isn't actually a good name for blue button, so I'm actually going to rename these buttons. So label 1, I can actually label 1 as label colours, so we can rename that label colours, say OK, and button 1 is actually the blue button, so I'm just going to rename that and say button blue. OK, next one, and so on. Okay, so I've renamed all the elements inside of my screen. I'm going to go straight to the editor and begin editing. So I can see I've got all my elements named nicely so I can identify them all, and what I'd like is to just specify a couple of things for my program. Firstly, my canvas, I've left this canvas 1, so I'm only going to have one drawing in there, and what I want to pick is, we've got lots of these functions. Now we need to be careful which one we pick, because with these functions I'm going to just go with the dragged, okay, which will actually indicate the user's actually dragging around on the screen, clicking and dragging with their finger or stylus or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to click inside there and I'm going to add a simple command. So I'm going to say canvas, I'm going to type it, canvas 1, yeah, dot, draw a circle. Okay, so it has 3 things inside of this command. These things are called arguments, so it's got 3 arguments. It needs to know the X position, the Y position, and also the radius. So, where do I get this from? going to go into my definitions, and it's basically created those values for me. So I'm going to get into current X, and click on that, pop it there. I'm going to go into current Y, and with the radius I can put any number I want. So I'm just going to click anywhere on the screen, pick math, pick 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to connect this to the radius argument, and I can specify a radius. So I'm just going to specify 5 for now. Keep it nice and small. I'm going to open my emulator and give this a go. So here's my canvas right now. Just going to begin drawing. You can see it's actually drawing, which is pretty cool.